Hello and welcome. If you're new, my name's Liv, and today we're going to be making two different plates. The idea of this is it's kind of made to share. It would be part of a spread. So we're going to make one kind of very simple salad that's very fresh. You could easily adapt this to kind of have more of an Asian flavor profile or kind of more of a Mediterranean, but we're going to keep it kind of Mediterranean here. And we're also going to be doing an eggplant dish, which I'm really excited about. It's a cardamom spiced eggplant with a really crunchy golden brown panko topping on top. So if you're interested to see how we make it, just stay where you are. We're going to start by cutting our eggplants in half lengthways. Then we're going to score them into this diamond pattern. So don't go all the way through to the skin. You want to leave about 1/2 centimetre between the skin and the flesh. Next, we're going to salt them and rub that in. This is going to help get rid of the bitter flavour in the eggplant. Place in an oven-proof tray, drizzle with some good olive oil, crack some pepper on top, and then we're going to put it in the oven set to about 180 for about 15 minutes while we get started on the rest of the preparation. Cut your fennel bulb in half and we're going to remove the hard fibrous center. Then we're just going to slice as best we can. You could also use a mandolin here to get really thin slices, or you could just sharpen up your knife skills. Place the fennel into a mixing bowl. Next, moving on to our CHOKO. So we'll cut that in half, remove the seed, and then we're also going to slice this as thinly as we can. You could use a mandolin and then julienne them after you've got thin slices, or you could just do it as you see here. If you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Place your julienne CHOKO into your mixing bowl with the fennel. Then we're going to move on to our cucumber. So slice your cucumber in half lengthways, then in half again, and we'll remove the majority of the center seeds. Don't worry if you leave some behind. It's just going to help kind of eliminate unwanted water from this salad. So when we start the pickling process, the vegetables are going to release a lot of their own moisture. So this is just to kind of prevent that a little bit. So depending on how many vegetables you use here, your sugar salt to salad ratio is going to look a bit different. So for this amount, I started with 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. Then I ended up adding a further teaspoon of each. Taste as you go along, give it a really good mix, and modify the ratio to taste. Grab a good handful of dill, and I'm just going to roughly rip up the leaves, removing some of the big chunky stalks, and then we're just going to roughly tear that in and add it to our salad. Give it a mix, give it a taste, and if you'd like to add more dill, now's the time to do so. I added another handful and the juice from half a lemon. Set that aside in the fridge, have a little boogie, shake it off, and we'll move on to the next step. Next, check on your eggplant that's in the oven. So it's been in for about 20 minutes at this stage, and it's quite tender, so now is a perfect time to take it out. Remove the skin from a small red onion, and then we're going to slice this into pretty sizable slices. This is going to be fried, and we want it to kind of hold its shape a little bit. So we'll turn a non-stick pan onto a medium heat. We'll also prepare our garlic. So I've got 5 cloves here that I'm just going to roughly crush and chop up. So now that our pan is nice and hot, we'll drop in some olive oil. Be generous here. We're actually going to start by frying off our panko breadcrumbs. So I added about a cup eventually to this. I just added it incrementally. This is not a time to walk away from the fry pan. Make sure you keep stirring. Add a good pinch of flaky salt until you get this lovely golden brown color. Now we're going to set this aside and place it in a bowl. We're going to add a generous amount of olive oil again and go straight in with our red onions. So we want to keep this on a relatively high heat. We want to get some color on them, but we don't want them to fully break down. We're going to use a fork and scrape our eggplant. Once your red onions have a little bit of color, add your chickpeas. So this is still on a high heat. We want to get a little bit of color on those chickpeas, but we don't want to cook them fully through. So we get a good handful of parsley. I'll add half of it to the breadcrumb mixture, all the while keeping the fry pan moving. Next, add half a teaspoon of salt, cardamom, and chili flakes to the chickpea mixture. Now we want to mix this continuously until it becomes lovely and fragrant. Then we're going to add in our garlic and cook this for a further couple of minutes until that becomes really fragrant. Now I'm going to use the back of my wooden spoon and just roughly crush the chickpeas. This is going to help kind of break them down a little bit, but also just give it a bit more texture. Now I'm going to slice up one tomato and I'm going to add that into the mixture, giving it all a mix until they break down a little bit, helping it along. Now I'm just going to deglaze a pan with a little bit of water and continue to crush until you have something that resembles this. Now we're going to fill our lovely eggplants. Spoon over this amazing breadcrumb mixture. And pop that back in the oven at about 160 for about 10 minutes. Now we're gonna make a really, really simple yogurt sauce to drizzle on top. So it's just 1 cup of Greek yogurt and 1 teaspoon of maple syrup. After about 10 minutes in the oven, our eggplant is ready and we're gonna drizzle it with our yogurt sauce. Roughly rip up some fresh flat leaf parsley and add that to the top. And finally, a little sprinkle of smoked paprika. And here you have it. This incredibly flavorful, easy dish. I'm so excited to try this. The house smells amazing. The cardamom and like the crispy, toasty panko breadcrumbs. It just smells insane in here. So let's try. Oh, wow. All right, got some chickpeas, the onion, a little bit of the yogurt sauce. All right. Whoa, that is really, really nice. It's kind of a familiar flavor. Like you've got the parsley, you've got the breadcrumbs, you've got that kind of slightly sweetened Greek yogurt. So all the flavors are familiar, but the cardamom kind of comes in with like a different flavor profile, as well as the chili flake, which gives it like a little bit of a kick. Let's try the salad. So the salad is nice and pickled, so it's still super crunchy, but it's easier for your body to digest it this way. And yeah, let's try. The balance of sweet, salt, and acid from the lemon juice is all super balanced. It's a beautiful accompaniment to the eggplant. They're both not very loud in flavor. They kind of look very sexy. They're kind of set to impress, but I feel like a lot of people would enjoy this. It's not too spicy. It's not too salty. It's kind of this like nice, calm, easy middle ground where I feel like it's a great recipe to make someone who's a bit of a vegetarian skeptic or people that just want to have meat on their plate. It's really interesting, really layered. There's a lot of different textures going on. It's really, really awesome. So if you make this, please do let me know. And please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. Thank you so much to anyone that subscribed in the last couple of weeks. It really does mean a lot. I know it's not something that you typically do. I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't really subscribe to people often, but it really does help us out and it makes us be able to make more videos like this. So thank you again so much for watching. Catch you next week.